Right out of the gate, our clients are given a document that is expectations, what to expect. And we really try to plot out, you're going to be without a kitchen 5, depending on what we're doing, 5 to 10 weeks, which is a really long time. So how do you set up a temporary kitchen? We might even throw them a couple of nights of pizza on Delight and Designs, but really start to get them thinking, what is it truly going to be like living without a kitchen?
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. And today we are going to thrive in our homes. If you're interested in updating your home, maybe you've looked at the prices of buying a new home today, which I know many of us have looked into that, and you say to yourself, you know, maybe I could look at my home and we could just maybe tweak it a little bit, add a room, knock down a wall, or put in some new cupboards to make your kitchen look fresh. I have a guest for you today. This is Jessica Crosby, and she is Delight in Designs, and she is going to be talking about some simple ways we can update our home, some things that maybe we haven't even thought about it. Maybe we're nervous about worrying about contractors when they don't show up and when the project is going to be done. She is going to be here to talk to you about what she can do to turn your home maybe into an updated home or really feel like a home you want to entertain with. So I want to welcome Jessica to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here today. And I just love talking about decorating. I mean, most of us, you know what, we look at our homes today and many of us just thought, you know what, let's just buy a new one.
Right.
And or we're just going to sell it and make the profits and buy. Well, that's not really been the case for many of us because they're like, I don't want to. I have a great interest rate. I bought it when it was down, right?
For sure.
And I have a great community. So even condos have been really priced out of our price range for some of us. So I want to talk about today is designing your home to be maybe just updated or just be able to walk in and go, because it just makes you feel good when you walk in. It's beautiful.
Yes.
And it really does represent mostly the woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it really does. It's definitely a representation of who you are. Your home should tell your story. You know, whether you're working with a designer or a contractor, you don't want your home to look like the designer did it, right? You want it to tell your story, and you want to walk through that home and see the travel, see the hobby, see the kids, see all the things that make your house a home.
And really, and you can really tell in a home, I think, where the people congregate.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about your business and how you got in it. And not everybody, I would tell you, I would have to have somebody like you come in and say, hey, I just like to do a paint job in my home. What would be the best with the windows, the lighting? What's going to make this look up and fresh? And you know what so my friends come and say, wow, this looks great.
Yeah.
And that's basically, they may not say that, but they feel, I want my home to feel comfortable.
Of course.
When people come in.
Of course.
So share how you got in it, because I know that I would have to have your help in my situation.
Yeah. So I really started loving the world of design and the world of how things work and building and construction and all of that, even back when I was a little girl. So growing up with a mother who cared deeply about her home, really had that sense of pride of what was not trendy, but on trend. And always, she was great at entertaining. So we had a lot of company and guests and all those things, and really, really loved her home. And so growing up with that, always, I have 2 other sisters, and all 3 of us are kind of the same way. We're always tweaking and changing and looking for things to do to our home. So
how lucky is that?
I know,
you know,
I know.
And did you start noticing when you went to friends' home and maybe they saw yours and then, or maybe asked for, because that's what I always say that to my friends, I don't really know what to do with the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to make it update. I don't want to spend thousands and thousands, which we're at today, but I mean, even higher than that.
Right.
I don't want to gut the whole thing.
Yeah. And you're not alone. There's many, many people out there that don't know how to put colors together or what looks the best. And, you know, thankfully, that's why I have a job, And I think, you know, God gave talents to all of us, and that happens to be mine. I feel like me and my team are pretty good at putting things together and making a cohesive look throughout the entire home, throughout the entire space. So, you know, I put those skills to use. This is what I call my second chapter of my life. I was in corporate America for the first chapter. And then this is my second chapter, and loving every second of it.
And so you started off just helping friends with their ideas?
Exactly. Yeah, same kind of thing. They'd come to my home and like, wow, I would have never thought to put that there or this here, and could you come to my home and help me? And so that's kind of how it started. So
Okay, and then and how long have you been in business?
we started in 2018.
Okay.
Very, very unique business model in that I have my builder's license.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
So we have our own contractors.
See, that's the thing you worry about, is dealing with contractors.
I know. It's a big problem in our industry. And, you know, my guys attend our team meetings. They embrace our culture. They know the importance of treating the home that we're in like their home. So it's really, really, I think, pivotal. And what I set out to do is to kind of change the reputation in our industry, because so often it's kind of met with fear, right?
Exactly.
They're not exactly sure what they're going to get. So not only are you overwhelmed with this big project you might have coming up, but then you're greeted with fear, like, is the contractor going to show up? Is he or she going to do a good job? Like all those things. So we really, really work to put that at ease.
And what, you know, maybe all of us that are seasoned have dealt with redecorating or remodeling projects.
sure.
And I will tell you, contractors are one of the things that bother me too, because they would say, I'll be here on Thursday.
Yep.
Never tell you that they're not coming.
Yep.
And you plan your whole day. I got to be here. The contract's coming. I
Right.
want to be. And they never show. And then they say it's only going to take 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then it ends up you're sitting there a month later. And there was all these little glitches. And to me, I just communicate with me.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Just say something you forgot to order.
Yep.
Something you can't finish the project, but it's always like a no-show.
Well, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think communication, because I'm not going to say that, you know, we say 2 weeks and we get done in 2 weeks either. Things happen, things creep up. But I haven't had a customer yet that hasn't understood, hey, somebody forgot to order something, or hey, we ran into mold behind the drywall, or whatever that is. But it's that communication, and then the customers get it. I mean, they understand that.
Yeah, we do. Well, and things get on back order.
Mhm.
We totally get that.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Or I really promised to get this project done, because they're doing some contractors are doing
Right.
multiple projects.
Right.
I really promised to, you know, Pamela, I know you could just wait one more few days. That's all I wanted.
Yep.
That's all I wanted was
Yeah.
to be nice to me and say, I'm like, oh, of course, because you know them all by their names.
Yep.
You get to know your contractor because
you
you're
do.
there all day.
They are.
Right?
They are. Yep.
And I was always adding on to my list when I do that.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about, how does it work with your company? Now you come in, if I was to say, all right, Jessica, we were thinking about, this is our budget.
Yep.
We're thinking about redoing our kitchen to kind of update it, because a possibility at our age, a possibility of a resale. We're not going to live there another 25 years, right? But we just want to live there maybe another 10.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe we're dealing with people who are like, look, I want everything done on the first level because we're older now.
Yeah.
So if a possibility of a surgery, grandma coming or mom living with you, I need to have this as easy as possible for her to maneuver
Yeah.
through it. I see that a lot too.
Yeah.
Of people happening. So how does that look like? You bring your team in. What does that look like for me?
Yeah. We would keep it really, really simple. So basically we start out with what we call a discovery call to learn a little bit more about your project. And then we have an in-home consult. And at that in-home consult, we really sit with you and try to figure out, how often do you entertain? Where do you do your computer work? Where do you read? Do you have pets? Like all these things that have an impact on the details that sometimes just a contractor might not figure out. Okay. So we have that in-home consult. From there, we take 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, we're coming up with designs, elevations, colors, samples, new flooring, new paint, all the things. And then we present that to the potential client within that 2-week window.
Is it like on screen?
Or it is. It's very much like you see on HGTV.
Okay.
So yeah, we have everything on a big screen, coupled with, we also have a budget and we also have a time frame. So right then and there, you can make a decision of, yes, let's move forward, or can we tweak a few things, or
Right.
and make some decisions right then and there.
Well,
So,
if I said to you, this is the amount we want to spend, and you're going to say, okay, this is what you're able to,
yes.
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? But if
yeah.
you know, you see they make it sound so simple in some of these, you know,
They
home
do.
improvement, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, for another $1,500, we could put in an island.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know where you can find it.
The courts is going to cost more than that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get you.
Exactly. And maybe some people don't realize some of the newer things that are coming out.
Yeah.
Now look, this is something with the island that people find very useful with your experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, because I had nothing worse than getting it. And I'm like, why don't you just tell me I should have had a breaker here?
Right.
Does that make sense? Or
Yeah.
the island needs to have this, or maybe some people have the sinks
Yep.
in their islands and some people don't.
Yep.
Do you understand what I'm
I totally get a good one. A good example of that is fireplace mantle. This is probably something more women think about than men, but put an outlet by your fireplace mantle, because at Christmas time we all know we love to put lights
That is true.
and do that beautifully. And so often there'll be an outlet for a TV, but oops, somebody forgot to put another outlet a little bit lower, or, you know, encased within the mantle, so
I
that
have
we can think
extension
about
cord.
those things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
extension cord
exactly.
with a power strip, so I could just hit it
Yeah.
at one button. But yeah,
Yeah.
it would be nice to have had it all
Yeah,
plugged in.
exactly.
You know, so because we don't like cords, but we have to make the best of that.
Right.
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 Okay, and so they come in, you give them the option, and then what? You hire, like you mentioned, you hire you get the permits if they need that. Everything goes through you.
Yeah, everything goes through us.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry as a homeowner, you're not having to worry about scheduling when the painter comes in, scheduling when do I do the tile. All of that is mapped out for you. We do supply our homeowners with a spec book, and that does have a schedule in there as well, so they can kind of know countertop day is a big day. Usually customers get pretty happy on that day because you're almost done. You're almost to the finish line.
On the countertop?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's a big day, but you can, you know, look ahead and say, okay, I know in week 5 countertops are coming.
Right.
So,
And what do people, when you come in there, what is something that their expectations, or what is there anything that you can share with us as if I were to talk to you in the future and think, okay, this is where, like, sometimes you go in and like our expectations are higher than what they don't realize.
yeah.
It's really gonna.
So, especially budget right now, I think a lot of our job is really educating our homeowners on budget, because prices have gone up dramatically, especially since COVID. They just have. And, you know, as we talk about tariffs and wood, and a lot of our wood comes from Canada, and what's all that going to shake out to be. So I really start with something simple like a shower and a bathroom. And you can expect, if you're going to take your fiberglass shower and your tub and pull that out, and you want to make that into a walk-in shower, that's typically going to be about $10,000 to $12,000.
You are kidding.
I am not kidding. So that's typically, you know, you pull all that out, you demo all that, you get the shower pan, you get the Schluter system around it, and then you start to get where the real expense is the tile, and then the craft of tile installation, because you don't want to hire somebody who isn't good at that. That's just,
No, I've seen projects.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's just not
you
good.
know.
So yeah, I typically, when we're trying to educate a homeowner on how much things cost, I usually start there, because even if they're doing a kitchen, that's just I kind of get that reaction, like, really? And it's like, that is, you know, the average price of turning that small little bathtub to a walk-in shower.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, what they show you on TV, like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we always said, where do we live? Where do we go for that? You know,
Yeah.
we're watching that.
yeah.
Okay, and so tell us what's new, because I know that people are saying that now that people are remodeling or building a home, they're not even they're working more on a huge island as opposed to a dining room table or a
Yes.
dining room. So what's changed?
Yeah,
And what?
yeah, you're kind of on the cusp of what is new. It's not even really about having a kitchen and then an eating area and then a living room. It's all one big room now. So, you know, when you think if you wanted to have a big party, or let's say you have a bridal shower or a baby shower, since you have one coming up, all those things, when you think about the world of entertaining, how do we entertain and do that all in one big space? And then another trend that's hot and heavy on both coasts, and we know Michigan kind of sees those trends last, is, I love this because I drink wine, but a wine cellar right when you walk in. So no more coat closet. They're all turning their coat closets into a beautifully done wine cellar. And so you're walking into the home and you get greeted with, would you like a glass of wine, instead of, can I take your coat? Which I'd rather have my coat on while I have a glass of wine. But
Well, and you know what? I never even thought about
Yeah,
that. My
yeah.
most of my friends, we have a bar, or they have a wine underneath their bar. They have a wine cellar.
yeah,
But they're turning their closets into
yeah,
wine
that's a big trend. And even bigger than closets, some people are even taking their formal dining rooms. So we were just at a home in Vegas for an expo that we were at a few months ago, and literally the wine cellar right there when you walk in the front door, you look to your left, and instead of a dining room, you see this big, beautiful glass enclosed wine cellar.
which is kind of cool.
It's very cool.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Well, I mean, okay, so they do that. They meet with you. You give them some designs. You listen to the client, and what are their thoughts when they're dealing with their the stress of it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about, how are you guys handling that? Because I know that my husband's not a big fan of any of these kind of projects. So I'm always like trying to do it when he's out of half time out of town and whatever. So I have to deal with that. But it is. I go sometimes, I visit my friends and they're getting their kitchen redone and everything is first thing I say is this probably be very stressful.
Yeah.
To be with children. And I mean, how do you guys help, and what are some of the things that they can do to?
Yeah, so right out of the gate, our clients are given a document that is expectations, what to expect. And we really try to plot out, you're going to be without a kitchen depending on what we're doing, 5 to 10 weeks, which is a really long time. So how do you set up a temporary kitchen? We might even throw them a couple of nights of pizza on Delight and Designs, but really start to get them thinking, what is it truly going to be like living without a kitchen? And it's kind of our mantra. We want to take that overwhelm feeling and turn that into a positive. So really working with the client and having those conversations up front. And like you said earlier, you really are living with your contractor that entire time.
Yeah.
So you want to have that friendship, that relationship, to know that they understand that the end result is going to be lovely and beautiful, and it's all worth it in the end.
It is. I tell you, I don't regret any of my projects. It's just that, like I said, you wanted just to tell me, it's going to be another 2 weeks out, whatever. But I never, we didn't. But when you were talking tearing down walls and tearing down your cupboards, and you're living out of boxes, and you have children, or maybe you have your hot plate, and you're ordering takeout because your stove's gone, right? And you could do stuff off on the grill, but try that after about 5 or 6 days. You're just like, oh man. And then you have your children, and then you have your pets. I have people that, the dog barks. I was there. Oh yeah, that must be the plumber coming, or that's the dishwasher guy is going to be putting that in, and that alone can be very stressful.
Right.
So you have to have that conversation with too. You're you're not used to coming and going. And having people in, and then of course if you have everything crammed into, if you have a home, everything's crammed into the upstairs. You get that, right?
Oh yeah, we see it all the time. When people remodel their kitchen, typically they're taking things, boxing it up, and probably placing it in their living room or their dining room, and it's boxed that way for a good 5 to 10 weeks. So,
and now what is your ideal customer? Because not everybody, like you said, you get to this point where, hey, it's going to be 15. I mean, what kind of customer do you like to be perfect for what the services that you offer?
Yeah. We're really looking for clients probably similar to yourself, right? They're very, very busy. They usually have a dual income. They're both working. Or even looking at retirement and how can we take our existing home and make it age appropriate or aging in place appropriate. Things like widening doors, taking the bathtub out and putting in a walk-in, and all those things that we need to start at our age, start thinking about, so that we don't have to face a nursing home, decision, that we can just stay right in place. So.
Yeah, and maybe even adding a washer and dryer. And one upstairs, maybe it's downstairs, and say, you know what, it's possible. And that's what my husband's mom was possibility coming to live with us. And I'm looking around going, okay, I'm looking for all right, so how are we going to do this? I mean, she ended up passing away before that happened, but to bring her into her home, I go, we're going to have to change some things out. And it has to make it easy for her. And I wanted it all on one level. you know, and that was the thing. And then I thought, well, okay, we want the deck area to be able, so she can go outside. So we need to make sure that that's
course.
be able, you
Yeah.
get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is an aging community.
Yeah.
Now that we see this, you know, the baby boomers
Yeah.
are coming, but one surgery, and you find out, man, we need to get this
Yeah.
house in order. So
Yeah.
you have that as the one
Yep.
people that are doing that
Yep.
now, thinking, or even just building on a room for grandma,
Yeah.
our mom,
Yeah.
right? That has everything. I know somebody took her to her whole, Rockford took her whole downstairs and turned it into her mother's living
Mother-in-law's,
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she can walk out and
Right.
everything, and it's worked out perfect.
Yeah.
She can come up when she feels like it, but her sitting, she had a
Still has her
living room.
privacy and
Yeah,
yeah.
which is, and sometimes it's really good for even cost efficient. You're like, oh, if you want to live a easier life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, grandmom gets rid of, mom or dad or whatever gets rid of everything, and they come live with us.
Yeah.
But I think that as long as they have a little bit of privacy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right. So what else are you seeing out there on the remodeling? You're a family-owned business,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Connected it, and what are some other incorporated homeowners' feedback that you get with your designs? I mean, you took our home and it made it into finally something we can entertain and be proud of, or maybe they realized that their home could be this beautiful. I think that's what I go, this looks great.
Well, and that's honestly what I love most is to see, you know, the reveal day is of course the most rewarding, because I think people don't expect it to be as beautiful as it is. So I love that. And I'll also take this time to say you don't always have to do the big projects like removing a wall or doing a kitchen
No.
or a bath. I am most delighted when we do a small living room or a bedroom and we just simply rearrange things and it turns out lovely and the homeowners walk in and it is that HGTV moment. We're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, and I love that. I love that feeling.
Well, you do
So,
teach your clients. I think with your design is how to utilize your space.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't realize how much wasted
right.
space, and I see that in myself, and I see that when I go to other people's home.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would not. This is too much.
Mhm.
You got to bring it in
Yep.
to open up the room or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And at least I know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
On the colors, and then of course I think a lot of, and you might experience this, is a lot of clutter. I
Mhm.
see a lot of people that have too much.
Yeah.
It's too much
Yeah.
decoration. Does that make
many
sense?
knickknacks. Oh, for sure. For sure.
And then you start taking it. Is that
Yep.
what, you know? We want this a little.
Yep.
But are people shocked that you're taking stuff away? But
I don't think so. I think most people get it. Another one that I feel like I see a lot that I personally don't like is like the matchy furniture. So, you know, if you go to a furniture store and buy a whole bedroom set, maybe don't buy the matching nightstands. Maybe you want to keep some interest and buy those from an antique store, or,
okay.
you know, so to keep some interest rather than a matching living room set where everything matches. It's far more interesting and looks more designer-y if you mix that up a little bit.
And I think too is I think people get some things from their grandmother or their
Yeah,
mother or
yeah.
whatever, and they want to keep it.
Yeah.
So you would probably look at this piece and go, this
Yep.
is kind of the heart. This is, when I look at it, I have emotion.
Yeah. Yep.
This was my grandmother's, right?
Mhm,
Or that artwork was my,
Exactly.
you know. And
Exactly.
what is out there with the newest like living room? Is fireplaces still in, or
Oh
is
yeah,
it, okay.
definitely fireplaces are in. I would say right now, and this can change, but I love this trend. I always say big is in. Big is in. So if you're doing a coffee table, oversize that centerpiece. So if you're doing a floral arrangement, make it super, super big on purpose.
Okay.
So the kind of the bigger the better. Same with the fireplace mantle. If you're going to put a picture, the normal designer rules are to shrink that picture down a little bit. Now they're saying make it as big, as wide as a fireplace. Like just really,
Okay.
really with intention, make things a lot more large scale than what.
And what does
normally
that
think.
do to the space?
I think it does allow for more creativity for sure, and it's going to allow the space more cohesiveness. Even just the other day, sometimes I do competitive intelligence, I'll call it, and I'm in Pottery Barn, and things are huge. Like on the table, the centerpieces are just massive.
Yeah.
So almost touching the light fixture, that big, like they're just huge.
And you
So,
did mention, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier in the show, wallpapers in.
Yeah. Yep.
That is making a comeback.
Yeah, wallpaper, and it's beautiful. I mean, I just love wallpaper, and not necessarily all four walls in a room, but you can use it on an accent wall or in the back of a bookcase, or you know, if you have a fireplace mantle and you want a fireplace, or you want a wallpaper above the fireplace.
And that's becoming popular?
Yeah, just touches here and there. You don't have to do all 4 walls. It's expensive. Wallpaper is not cheap.
No.
So
No, it's not, and it does change. And now what about, that we were just talking about with my friends, wood, oak?
yeah.
Is that still pretty,
Yeah.
is it still popular?
Yeah, so wood is definitely, so we had the white kitchen phase for a long time, and that's kind of shuffling its way out a little bit, and now a white oak is in. So if, you know, a lot of our homes back in the late 90s have that kind of golden oak look. So if you can whitewash those and get a little bit more life, if the cabinet itself still looks like it's got great life to it, maybe add a whitewash technique to get some more life out of it and take the golden orangey kind of color out of it.
So what's the, like, okay, so what if I was talking to me, we're having an event, I'm just like, you know what, I just want to update my kitchen a little bit. I mean, what price point am I looking at, you know, like besides tearing down, because a lot of people are like, you know what, I just want to have a refresh.
Yeah.
You know, is that what they want to call it? What do they call it? Just to update.
Yeah,
a
so
little
if
bit.
you were to like paint your cabinets, reinstall a different countertop and do a backsplash, you're probably around the 15,000 range
Okay.
for those 3 things. And I'm going on like a normal size kitchen. but
Right, and that could do wonders, right?
That
'Cause-
can do wonders, yeah.
And what is the emotion when you talk to women that mostly women,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But men feel too.
Yeah.
They want to be proud of their home that they're putting, you know, the resources to, right?
For sure.
I mean, what is the effect on women when they feel like their house doesn't represent them?
Yeah, and I feel this in my own home right now, as you and I talked before we got started here today. I think there is a level of confidence when you open that door to greet guests, or even if it's your own, you know, family unit, and you're celebrating Christmas and you're doing all those things that create those memories. There's just something about a boost of confidence when you know everything is right at home, right?
Yeah.
And everything's beautiful and the way you love it, versus, oh, my kitchen cabinets look like they're from, you know, 1984 or whatever. You know, there's just that boost.
Yeah, and it does represent the woman. I don't care what, you know, people will say, but I do. And
Yeah.
but I always tell David, the yard and the garage represents you.
Yes, yeah.
But when people walk in,
Yep.
And even if you could come in and declutter and make it feel more cozy.
Yeah.
To me, I want people to feel cozy in my home.
Yep.
Like I want to sit down, but I want it to look a little bit of style,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That we have, you know, we're not just a bunch of frumpy people. It's
Yeah,
like we have a
yeah.
little class.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. And even so, you take 2 candlesticks on a fireplace mantle. Some people might just put 2 candlesticks on the fireplace. Why not get 2 books, lay them down, and put the other candlestick on top of that? So now they're at 2 different levels, and all of a sudden you've got something much more interesting to look at than just 2 candlesticks on a fireplace.
That's exactly
So-
it. And I tell you what, you spend so much time in your home. You really want to just feel at ease and just love it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you want to do? Any questions I have not asked you? Or
No, I think we discussed a lot. I think, I guess our biggest differentiator is keep in mind that I have my builder's license. I know I don't look the part sometimes, but having that builder's license in our own crew is definitely making a secret sauce success for Delight and Designs.
Yeah, I would believe so. I heard some of your testimonies that you have on your website. So share how people can reach you, Jessica, and talk about maybe their next project and even their future. Say, look, we want this, you know, coming up in this next year. We'd like to already be talking about.
Yeah, for
what
sure.
it's going to cost.
Yeah, so if you have a project and you want to turn to Delight and Designs, you can reach us at our website, www.delightanddesigns.com. And of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram as well with the handle Delight and Designs.
Well, it's time to update our homes, maybe change a room, maybe a room you've been putting off forever. I'm telling you, I have that room. Every time I go by it, I always tell myself I need to get it done.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
And you need to get those completions done to feel good. So I want to thank Jessica Crosby for being
thank
here
you.
today.
Thank
It's
you.
been a delight. I love talking about decorating, and we will be talking on that one. So from Delight and Designs, check her out and update your home, and she can answer all your questions. So this is Pamela Keim from Grand Tap Media. We will catch you next time. Take care, everyone.